Hello and welcome to the Woke Socialist podcast. The other day, I saw the most disturbing podcast as a person of color I could have seen. It was Nicole Wallace talking to Rosie Perez about the state of America today. And all I heard was references to money. Now, if you look like me in the United States of America right now, with what is going on, you don't have the luxury of certain classes in America. Now, Rosie Perez said over and over and over again, ad nauseum, people are scared. People are scared. They have families to feed. They have to make their bills. They have to pay their rent. They have to do this. They have to do that. And then she brought up some grandchildren that she had. What struck me most out of this interview was she made a reference, which is becoming too comfortable with people of color, to the privileged. After she sat there and whined and cried, she had the audacity to say that there are people of privilege, and I'm assuming whites, in Hollywood that have the luxury of opposing Donald Trump because they don't have to worry about getting work. I will repeat that again. There are people of privilege in Hollywood who can oppose Donald Trump because they do not have to worry about getting work. Getting work. Paying their bills. As a child of the 1970s and 80s, I'm going to take a little moment to remind you that Rosie Perez was given her first job of any consequence by a black man named Spike Lee. And that movie was called Do the Right Thing. But I digress. So now all of a sudden, Nicole Wallace and Rosie Perez are concerned about paying their bills, as opposed to standing up to fascism because they're scared. This is a perfect example of an individual that is a content creator on YouTube named Paul Lance. He calls that white proximity, to where you get yourself comfortable to convince yourself that staying silent will help you continue to make money, and so forth. That will make you more appealable to white supremacists in America. So that was the most disgusting part of the beginning of this week, or I think it was the weekend. I'm not sure. I was so flabbergasted by this shit that I couldn't even, but that's where Latino Americans of privilege are right now. Except Bad Bunny. At least he stood for something. At this point, Rosie Perez is ixnay to me, because that was god awful. This is the Woke Socialist Podcast. Please like and subscribe to this video. If you have not been living under a rock since Donald Trump was inaugurated, then you understand that YouTube is one of the last bastions of free speech. So please like and subscribe to this video and any video you see on YouTube, and add comments, because it moves us up in the algorithms and it fights against the hackers and bots that are now infiltrating this platform ad nauseum. So I'm going to get back to the subject matter of this particular show. It is how Democrats are going to lose in 2026. Now, if you look like me in America, you don't have the luxury right now of constructing and conforming your life around an election. You don't have the luxury of planning the next No Kings protest attendance. You don't have the luxury of being a member of any organization, including Indivisible, and becoming part of a mass database. It's not because you don't want to. It's because every day you walk out that door, Homeland Security, funded in part by Democrats in Congress, loyal to AIPAC, ICE, and any other entity right now can snatch you off the street with no due process and put you in a concentration camp. Let me be clear. Many content creators on YouTube, in case you haven't noticed, have alerted you of at least 23 concentration camps, one of them in Maryland, and one in some office building in Baltimore that is under operation right now, where people are sleeping in their feces and urine and resemble slave ships, toe to toe. This is what we have to look forward to every day we walk out of our doors. But fear not. Because if you give a few dollars to Democrats in Congress and Senate, they will save you in November. Let me tell you something, folks. You are trying to make sense out of nonsense. The nonsense is, since the first slave hit the American shores in 1619, every bit of what you hear from anyone in politics right now is a regurgitation of centuries old rhetoric to get you to stand down and not fight as people of color for your human rights. We're not fighting for civil rights anymore. We're not operating under color of law. We don't have a Constitution and a Bill of Rights. What we have is common sense. And the common sense right now is that we can no longer rely on the United States government, from the presidency to the Supreme Court to every single elected official of both parties in both houses, to do anything outside of their comfort zone to protect the average citizen of any state in this union. So what I'm saying to you is this: I don't fear because I am misrepresented, because Democrats have sold out to AIPAC, or because we can't even trust black officials that we elevated to high office. What I fear more than anything at this moment is not being dragged out of my house, not being silenced, threatened, or tortured. What I fear most right now is not being recorded as standing against it. What I fear most right now is being called a coward. What I fear most right now is lying to people that I have told are safe around me, like our elected officials, like our Supreme Court, and like our president. What I fear right now is that my word will mean nothing when I cease to be on this earth. I don't fear a party, a man, a court, a document, or roving gangs of people with guns. I fear not standing on the backs of my ancestors and protecting their legacy. For every Cuban American that voted for ICE, you are an absolute disgrace to people of Latino heritage all over the world who suffered so that you can come here and relish in the riches of my nation, my indigenous nation. To all the Native Americans who fear ICE, just as they fear Richard Nixon during COINTELPRO and sold out their citizens, you are a disgrace to the red people. To the black people that sit on their ass and say, this is not my fight, or I'm going to watch MSNBC in the Olympics so I don't have to look this dead in the eye for what it is. You are a disgrace to your people. To the elected officials of Jewish and black descent who continue to take AIPAC money and continue to facilitate this genocide on your own people in the name of re-election and another false promise year after year after year of stopping these atrocities by fascists in America that have been going on for 10 years, and white supremacy that has been enacted by clandestine organizations since Ronald Reagan. You are an absolute disgrace to our people, the American people. In 2026, the Democrats are not set to win the Senate, the House, and the presidency. They're set to lose because the very demographic that they depend upon to vote them into office are currently under extermination. By the Trump administration. Every time Chuck Schumer, HAKEEM Jeffries, and all the other AIPAC members like Nancy Pelosi that claim to be so pro-black continue to not shut down this government full stop, they are ensuring that their voters will be dead by November. Make no mistake, 23 concentration camps. The math doesn't add up. If you're a white Democratic voter in America, good on you. I wish you the best of luck. For the rest of us, every Democrat, every rich black person, every Republican, the Supreme Court, all of Congress, and all of Senate have voted for the Trump administration already. So this problem is not going to be solved by us voting harder and voting blue no matter who. We're way past that. The only thing that can stop this is by both parties in both houses and every person that knows the difference between right and wrong, nihilism, hedonism, Christianity, and liberty, to stand up and do what's right. There is no fiber of my being that expects this. So what you can expect, and this is my solemn prediction, is death, destruction, and bloodshed from here on out. This is what you voted for, you didn't vote for, or you continue to vote for as an elected official. This is the Woke Socialist Podcast. And I hope that you don't sleep well tonight. I hope you have the night that you deserve.